Hello, this is Mr. Brown. This podcast, we're going to look at doing an introduction to D2L for the CNT class that you have with me. All right, and when you first log into D2L, what you're going to notice is on the front page, let's just take a look what we have from the front page here. I'm always going to have a news note up for the week, reminding us what week we are on of the semester and what sort of things we should be working on. So as you log in, take a look for that. That'll keep you on target with what we're doing. You also notice on the right side under the calendar, um, any event, any assignment, anything that we're working on during the semester, I have linked to the calendar, so you can be following this to know what you're working on and know when things are due. I know that's handy for some people, so that's something to be checking out. As I scroll down a little further, you'll see area down here, content browser. That's the content for the semester. So those are kind of the common things that we'll see. Let me change my role to student so it looks a little bit better for you guys. As I go across the top navigation bar, this is a navigation bar that I have made for our classes. This has on the common links that you'll need, so you won't have to dig around. This is just kind of the common stuff we need for the semester. So let's take a look. As I hit the content page, this is literally the page that has all the PowerPoints, notes, links, pictures, and anything that we would need for the semester. You should be able to find off of here, and I have it organized by, as we take a look, there's week 1. This is all the stuff we need for this first week of class, as well as this contains things like the syllabus and kind of those general questions you'd have about class. So any kind of general thing that you'd be wondering about, you can hit this area and find. If I look at chapter 1 here, which would be the second week of class, when I look here, I will scroll down through. I have links to a weekly checklist. This is going to be handy to people. As I click on that, a checklist should pop open of these are the things you should be doing that week, and you can check them off as you go. Again, that's very handy for people as they're working through the semester to know, okay, this is week 1, week 2 of class, and these are the things I should be doing. That'll allow you to kind of check off and keep up to date with what we're doing. Below that, I have links to PowerPoints and even some note pages for people that like to have the notes page to fill out as they're reading the chapter. I have those for you. Here's as I scroll down a little bit further, here's a link to the PowerPoint that I use when I do my podcast, and then link to the podcast that review the chapter. Every chapter that we cover in our class, I have a podcast created for. A lot of times they're broken into pieces that we can watch them in chunks. That's kind of an overview of that chapter, the highlights of that chapter, things that I can show and tell you about the topics in that chapter. So these would be the podcasts for the chapters. I click on one of those. Here it is. Here, I can click on this and start playing it. Yay. This is actually linked out to YouTube. So if it's easier for you to watch it there, you can just click here and watch on YouTube. So I have podcasts for each of the chapter. Let me pop back to our content page again. As I keep going below podcasts, what you're usually going to find is a link to the homework quiz. For each chapter that we cover, there is a quiz that goes with it. That's kind of your homework for the week. And below it, I have links to things like discussion boards. If you have any questions about things, you can pop them out on the discussion board for the week. And that way, myself or somebody else can class and answer. And then I'm a visual guy, so there's usually many pictures and many links down here of different things talked about in the chapter. Those are really for your reference to help you. Then links out to other things that are talked about. So there's your content page and kind of a quick overview of what you find in each area. And I have that for every chapter of the semester. Chapter 1, Chapter 2, Chapter 3, and so forth. What you will find is these content pages are going to open up the week that you need to work on them. So as you start on the content page, there'll be only one chapter open, then the next one, and so forth. So they're going to slowly open up for you on this semester. That way it's not too overwhelming for you. The next link on the top bar is discussion. This is your discussion boards for the semester. I have a couple general areas for you, and then I have specific ones created for each week of class. Again, there will be a new one that pops open each week. You don't need to use it, but this is an area where you can ask a question about the chapter, any topic in there. Myself and somebody else in the class can get back to you on that. Here's our link to our checklist. I have a checklist for each week of class. Again, as you open these up, they pop open and you can check off things as you go. That way you can know that you have all the items for the week done. Okay, that's usually a handy thing for people that are like to try to stay organized and make their time as efficient as possible. There is a link to the Dropbox. Towards the end of the semester, we're going to do a design lab. So this is going to open towards the end of the semester for you to be able to submit your design lab to. If I keep going, the quizzes link at the top. Here's all the quizzes for the semester. They're set up again to kind of open up the weeks that you need to work on them and then close. They are going to close on Sunday nights at 11:30. Most things open at Monday morning, basically Monday at midnight, and then I'll close on Sunday night at 11:30. That's typically how things are arranged for the online class. The on-campus classes, they're going to close. The quizzes will close right before class meets that week. There's a link to the class list. You can see all the class members and all the members in class in case you need to email somebody, or if you're trying to get a hold of somebody in class, you can do that. Here's a link to the grades page. All your grades for the semester you'll be able to see on here. All the quizzes are lumped into the homework category, which is worth 25% of your grade. All the labs we're going to be doing some virtual labs on a test out product. All those are lumped into the labs and project category, worth 25%. The midterm exam here, you'll notice there's a written portion, lab portion. We're going to do a written portion on D2L. We're going to do a couple lab questions on our virtual lab sim on test out. Those are lumped together into the midterm exam column, worth 25%. And the same thing for the final. There'll be a written final on D2L. There'll be a lab piece on test out. Those two are lumped together into the final exam column, worth 25% of your grade. So you'll be able to see this at any given point during the semester to keep track of how you're doing. As we keep going, there's a rubrics link up here. The design lab we'll be doing later this semester. I have a rubric for that, so you'll be able to see how it's being graded, and to know that you have all the pieces you need for the design lab. The competencies for the class, these are kind of like the overall goals of the class. I have them all listed here just to kind of keep us all on target and make sure we're hitting everything that we need to for the semester. Here's a link to the test out product. Okay, when you bought your book, you should have also bought your test out access code at the counter of the bookstore. We'll get to this in a separate podcast, but this is where we'll come in and do our virtual labs for the semester. So I have a link right here on the top of D2L so that, as you're working down through your checklist and go, oh yeah, I need to do these test out labs, you can pop that right open, log in and do those labs for the week. I have a link to a chat for our class. This is one of those things that if you need to ask a quick question, you can pop in here, and when I'm on D2L, I'm kind of on and off D2 all day long, so that's one of those things I'll hopefully see you jump in there or hear you jump in there and can try to answer a question for you relatively quickly. Or you can email me and set up a time, say, hey, Mr. Brown, can we chat tonight at 9 o'clock? And, I have a couple questions about class. We can jump in there and answer some questions for you real quickly. That should hopefully be helpful. Here's a link here to some student tutorials for D2L, just in case you're having issues with anything on D2L. These are D2L specific. And then I have a link up here to a Google Hangout. I have a Google Hangout created in case we need to get together again and either chat or video call about anything in this semester. Here it's ready to rock and roll. This is one I created. On this one again, hey, there it is. There's my video call. Hey, look at that, yay. I'll close him out. On this one again, it would probably be worthwhile if we email ahead of time and kind of set up a quick time to do this. That way we were both there to connect up for it. But I have a link there so we can easily catch up on that if we need to, or if that's going to be helpful for the questions that we have. So there's a super quick introduction to how I have D2L set up for the semester, and this is pretty much for any CNT class that you have with me. But that'll give you a quick idea where some things are so you don't have to dig around and try to find them. I'll come back in another podcast and talk about test out.